education materials.
So y'all know how I have been reading the Quran with the World Religion Book Club because I have been wanting to combat Islamophobia in the wake of Gaza, because a lot of opposition, or just from what I'm seeing, the reason why so many people dare refute that this is an actual genocide is because of Islamophobia. And I do know that there are Palestinians who are Christian. There are Palestinians who are Jewish. But from what I'm seeing from the dehumanization side of things of Palestinians, that is very much fueled by Islamophobia. And so I found it important to start with the Quran in the World Religion Book Club. And I've been thoroughly enjoying reading the Quran and learning about Islam. But what I will say, as someone who is brand new, who hasn't read it prior, has had no prior knowledge of the Quran, what is overwhelming is not the Quran itself. It is everyone's interpretation of it, because everyone seems to have a different interpretation, and they'll tell you to go to the scholars. Like, don't listen to just your everyday person. Go to the scholars of the Quran and go to their interpretations of it. But the scholars don't agree either. So it's very overwhelming and exhausting from that aspect, because when I'm reading the Quran, it just seems easy. It seems like super straightforward. But then when I say something out loud of what I think something is, I will get a resounding, no, that's not what it means. And so I'm just like, oh, okay.
I gotta say, seeing all of these Westerners, Americans sharing their experience of reading the Quran for the first time, and just the comment sections I've been seeing on all of y'all's videos has been so inspirational and so uplifting these past couple of weeks, that I wanted to share my Quran, and the reason why I like it so much. I have it over here. This is called the Study Quran. And it's a really great version of the Quran expanded. As you can see, it's almost the thickness of a Bible, even though we know the Quran is much smaller in its substance. But what you'll see is when you open the Quran, on the top is the larger text. And the larger text is the actual Quran itself. And then down here, all this wall text goes by stanza by stanza, ayat by ayat. And it's scholars breaking down the meaning and interpretations to prevent confusion and to provide context for those of us who were raised maybe not knowing history, not knowing so much about the Middle East, not knowing so much about the history that was going on at the time. It also offers maybe not exact translations of words from Arabic into English, but will give like a fleshed out explanation of certain words so you can get a better understanding than just giving it a simple English translation. And what I really like is if you feel a little bit like it's hard to digest the prose of the Quran, that it's a little bit difficult to just read it through and through and understand what it's saying, but you want to feel like you understand what Muslims believe in, and how it influences their culture, science, math, all that stuff. In the back, and I actually have it open to my favorite essay here, there are a ton of essays. There's one here, my favorite one is called Death, Dying, and the Afterlife in the Quran, because I love talking about end-of-life stuff. It's by one of you might actually know him as a scholar. His name's Hamza Yusuf. But the back of the Quran has tons of essays about, like, even the first one here is like how to read the Quran. There's a bunch here. Traditions of esoteric and sapiential Quranic commentary. Like, hello. Scientific commentary on the Quran. The source of Quran is Islamic law. The Quran and schools of Islamic theology and philosophy. And these are all essays that will explain in academic English what's going on in the Quran. And then you will feel a lot more secure in what you're learning if you feel a little confused. So, Bismillah.
So I made sure to purchase myself this book. It's very tiny, makes me very happy. And I'm guided to totally start reading it out loud to you. Let's get to the first part. This is the foreword. I'm literally starting at the complete beginning. No person can afford to be ignorant of the Quran, for it is the constitution revealed by God to regulate and govern human life. It speaks with the perfect knowledge of the Creator about His creation. It exposes the truth and invites man to the way of the truth. It contains important information about human destiny and that of the individual. It educates and raises men to the highest moral, intellectual, and social level when they strive to comprehend it and apply its teaching to life. It is an eternal miracle, a proof of Muhammad's prophethood, and a challenge to all succeeding generations. It is of unique and inimitable quality. Revealed 14 centuries ago, it remains today completely intact and unaltered in its original Arabic form. Al-Muntada Al-Islami has selected the Sahih International Translation, parentheses, first published by Dar Abul Qasim, Qasim, Publishing House, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, parentheses, for worldwide distribution. Extensively acknowledged for improvement over previous translations, its language closely adheres to that of the original text while remaining lucid and intelligible. Its general meanings are clear and correct, expressed in a readable and uncomplicated manner. The Arabic Quran has always spoken for itself to those who discover it for the first time, as well as those who study it in depth. Within the Quran, one will find diamond, information about God as He described Himself, diamond, knowledge of the purpose of life on earth and what is expected of every person during this life, diamond, awareness that there are consequences to one's attitudes and behaviors, diamond, guidance on how to relate positively to all things, to the Creator.
Welcome back. We're reading the Quran. We're in a new section called Ankabut, and it is called the spider too. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, one says A-L-M Alif Lam Mim. 2. Do men think that they will be left alone on saying, we believe, and that they will not be tested? Oh my gosh. Right as we get started, my favorite type of verse appears. Look at that. Do men think that they will be left alone on saying, we believe, and that they will not be tested? I was thinking about that on the way home today, and then look, I start reading and it's right there. We did test those before them, and Allah will certainly know those who are true from those who are false. Do those who practice evil think that they will get the better of us? Evil is their judgment. For those whose hopes are in the meeting with Allah in the hereafter, let them strive, for the term appointed by Allah is surely coming, and He hears and knows all things. And if any strive with might and main, they do so for their own souls, for Allah is free of all the needs from all creation. So when you strive, you're doing it for yourself, because don't say that you're just like, oh, I'm doing it for God, like you're doing it to honor God, right? But you're doing it for your own soul, because God's not necessarily like, He's not gonna like get some type of percentage points of benefit for what you did. It's basically to help you right on the day of judgment, I think, right? So that you can get to the hereafter, right? Those who believe and work righteous deeds, from them shall we blot out all evil that may be in them, and we shall reward them according to the best of their deeds. We have enjoined on man kindness to parents, but if they either of them strive to force thee to join with me in worship anything of which thou hast no knowledge, obey them not. Ye have all to return to me, and I will tell you the truth of all that ye did.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and others. I bring to you this next reading from the Noble Quran. And tonight I start for you a new surah, which is Surah 17, which I believe here is written down as Surat al-Isra, the journey by night. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Glorified and exalted is He, Allah, above all the evil they associate with Him, Tafsir Ker Tabubi, who took his slave Muhammad for a journey by night from our Masjid al-Haram at Makkah to our Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, the neighbourhood whereof we have blessed, in order that we might show him, Muhammad, of our ayat, proofs, evidences, lessons, signs, etc. Verily, he is the all-hearer, the all-seer. And we gave Musa, Moses, the scripture, and made it a guidance for the children of Israel, saying, take none other than me as your wakil, protector, Lord, or disposer of your affairs, etc. O offspring of those whom we carried in the ship with Noah, verily he was a grateful slave. And we decreed for the children of Israel in the scripture, indeed you would do mischief in the land twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So when the promise came for the first of the two, we sent against you slaves of ours given to terrible warfare. They entered the very innermost parts of your homes, and it was a promise completely fulfilled. Then we gave you a return of victory over them, and we helped you with wealth and children, and made you more numerous in manpower. And we said, if you do good for your own selves, and if you do evil, you do it against yourselves. Then, when the second promise came to pass, we permitted your enemies to disgrace your faces and to enter the mosque of Jerusalem, as they had entered it before, and to destroy with utter destruction all that fell in their hands. And we said in the Torah, it may be that your Lord may show mercy to you, but if you return to sins, we shall return to our punishment, and we have made hell a prison for the disbelievers. Verily, this Quran guides so that which is most just and right, and gives glad tidings to the believers in the oneness of Allah and his messenger, Muhammad, who work deeds of righteousness, that they shall have a great reward, paradise, and that those who believe not in the hereafter, for them we have prepared a painful torment, hell. And man invokes Allah for evil as he invokes Allah for good, and man is ever hasty. That is, if he is angry with someone, he invokes saying, "Oh Allah, curse him," and that one should not do, but one should be patient. And we have appointed the night and the day as two ayat. Then we have obliterated the sign of the night with darkness, while we have made the sign of the day illuminating, that you may seek bounty from your Lord, and that you may know the number of the years and the reckoning. And we have explained everything in detail with full explanation. And we have fastened every man's deeds to his neck, and on the day of resurrection we shall bring out for him a book which he will find wide open. It will be said to him, "Read your book, you yourself are sufficient as a reckoner against you this day. Whoever goes right, then he goes right only for the benefit of his own self. And whoever goes astray, then he goes astray to his own loss. No one laden with burdens can bear another's burden. And we never punish until we have sent a messenger to give a warning. And that ended there at verse 15. I hope and pray you found some spiritual benefit from this reading of the noble Quran, or indeed find some time to read the scriptures in your preferred language, perhaps Arabic, which I would only brutally murder with my Aussie tongue. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.
I've been closely following the Israel-Palestine massacre that's going on, and as an outsider, I really don't know what to say. I'm careful about coming here on social media because I don't want to take up too much space, but this is just something that's been on my mind for the past couple of days. I've been keeping an eye on every major news channel that's covering Palestinians. Eye on Palestine, Middle East Eye. I've been following Motaz. I've been shocked to my core at the faith that not just Palestinians have, but the Muslim people have. Because I know for a fact that when I'm losing everything in life and nothing is going my way, that's when I really question God and I question my faith and I question if there's even someone watching over me. But these people are witnessing their families being murdered in front of them, seeing their own children's body. And there are also doctors and nurses who stay in the hospital and refuse to leave, knowing that if they stay there, their life is going to be in danger. I just cannot even comprehend the amount of faith to stay so strong. Growing up, I always used to hear in passing that Muslim men in general are a certain way, and these are of course stereotypes, none of it is true, and it's something that I've unlearned as well. But what is happening in Palestine has opened my eyes to the beauty of Islam and the beauty of faith, a community that only wants one thing: to live a life that leads them to heaven. Actually blows my mind.